Hello, this is Pastor Al, and here's a few things that you need to do when you're preparing for interviews. When you prepare your resume needs to have education and experience, and this changes when you go to the interview. When you go to the interview, they're more interested in your personality than your education. They'll say, I'll have them say, "Well, you graduated, didn't you?" And I'd say, "Yes," and they'd say, "Yeah, that's fine." And so then if you have the college degree, that's fine. And then they're more interested in that you have the degree that you graduated than where you graduated from. And then they ask you direct, specific questions about the job to see if you can do the job. And so when you're preparing the resume, you need to have the education that meets the job description and also experience relevant to the job position. If you don't have experience relative to the job position, they file your resume, they don't call you for an interview. When you're doing research about the company, before you go in on the interview, you should research two things. One, you should have a job description so you can prepare direct, specific technical questions that they're going to ask you about the job. And also, you need to know something about the company so you can seem intelligent when they ask you why do you want to come work for the company, and what do you like about our company, and why would you like to work for our company. And when you go on the interview, there's two types of questions that they ask you. One are open-ended questions that the people that are in human resources, HR, that they tend to ask you questions like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Tell us about some of your strengths. Tell us why you want the job. And then they'll ask you a lot of open-ended questions because they can't really ask you specific direct questions about the job because it's too hard for the people in HR to know each job position in detail. But the people that are in the department and the manager, the hiring manager, he's going to ask you specific job-related questions. And he's going to ask you, if you're applying for a programmer job, he's going to ask you specific jobs about programming languages, and about computers. If you're doing a sales job, he's going to ask you specific job questions about sales. And so during the interview, you have to realize that they're not so much interested in the education and the experience as how you fit in with the group. They're very, very interested in, do you fit in on the team? And they've had people that have been caustic in the past and that cause a lot of problems, that play a lot of politics. So they're interested in somebody that will be friendly, that will get along with everybody, that will solve people's problems, that will work well in the team. So they're going to ask. So they're looking at you to see how you relate with people. So try and be as personable as possible. Say thank you, Mrs. Smith, and Mr. Adams, and call people sir, and be as polite as you possibly can, because that will increase your ability, your chances of getting the job. And they'll ask you direct, specific questions about the job. What I do is I take a manila folder with me with a white sheet of paper in it, and when I'm being asked questions by the person interviewing me, after a while they'll go out and they'll bring somebody else, and I'll write down the specific questions that they ask me during the interviewing process. And after I leave, I'll sit in the car and I'll try and remember some more of the questions. And this way I can prepare those questions better for the next job interview. And that way each time I interview, I get better at preparing the answers. And after the interview, not only do you want to prepare your answers better and learn from the interview and say, what was I weakest in, and how can I answer these questions better, but you also, if you're interested in the job, you should write them a personal letter saying that you're interested in the job, and you want to know when they're going to make an offer, and that will make them not forget you, because they're going to be interviewing a lot of people, and writing them a letter shows that you're really interested in the job and that you want the job, and it makes you look more like a willing employee. So this has been Pastor Al. I hope these things have been of help. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.